Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I was going to do a different one tonight, but I got to thinking about the recent events, especially what happened today in Kabul, and my disgust um, just won't let me do the other one. So I want to do a little bit about my thoughts on this. Probably could be a long one, but it probably won't be. Uh, when I saw the picture of the helicopter in Afghanistan today, I remembered Saigon and the fall of Saigon and all the crap that led up to that. Uh, I missed that draft. Luckily, uh, God looked after me because I was one of those young fools that almost was looking forward to going to that mess over there. And a lot of my friends did. A lot of them got screwed up, of course. And I lucked out. And never had a desire, never felt that I'd missed anything. The more that I learned about the way that our military is used, and the more that I learned about our government and the so-called ruling class, the thugs and criminals and such, I could use worse words, that run this country, I have never regretted not getting involved in that mess. However, my disgust for what our government has done to generations of fine young people, uh, I can't even express that. You know what happened in Afghanistan is just the latest of many of these money-making operations that our government has run, sacrificing the lives of thousands of our good young people for money. Every war I'll make it since the revolution, because I can make a case for every stinking war back, including World War II and World War I, and the Spanish-American War, and the Civil War, and the War of 1812, maybe, who knows. But it's all about money. And for you younger people who may be looking at this, don't ever doubt it's about money. I'm going to tell you something in just a minute that you should read. I don't want this to be confused with me having anything against the military, because I don't. I have my family up until me was always being drafted into one war or another. We were never a career military family, at least not since the mid 1800s. Uh, I have many friends who served, some for a short period of time, some for a long period of time. They're fine people, and I've known a great many of the military that are just exceptional folks. Now, I've known some in the military that aren't exceptional, so I'm not going to go like everybody that put on a uniform as a hero any more in the military than in the police, because they're not. People are people. But but our government sacrificed too many of generations over making money. There's a book that everybody should read. I read it years ago. It's called War is a Racket. It's by Smedley Butler. And it's not a big book. It's more like a pamphlet. And I used to require all my students to, that's one of the first things that I had them read, especially the ones that wanted to go into the military after I told them no. Butler was an exceptional guy. He was a Marine officer. Excuse me, I kicked the stand. Back in the early 1900s, he came to the understanding that every war he ever fought in was, and I don't remember. He got he was awarded the Medal of Honor, maybe two brevets, and I forget what the situation was. Look him up. He's a fascinating guy. But he came to the conclusion and the understanding that every war he ever fought in, and for which he was paid and received awards and medals, was for the corporations. He tried to warn people. Eisenhower tried to warn people of the danger of the military-industrial complex. Certainly since the 50s, our military has been used, misused, abused, and the people in it for for the corporate interests of the ruling so-called elite. My disgust for this knows no bounds. The people in charge of this country, the people, the deep state, the people up there who have been voted in dishonestly, they ought to be in jail. They ought to be in prison. The one I was going to make tonight was about America being a burning house, and it kind of gets into that. But it's burning down, and there's a couple of ways that it could go. I'll see if I can make that one tomorrow if I've gotten over my irritation and anger a little bit. I know this is going all over the place. But when I saw this, I told a story. I think a few videos ago of a friend of mine who I was explaining to him the reasons for all the wars we were in. And I told him, I says, you know why you were in Vietnam? He says, well, blah, blah, blah. He was drafted. Nobody really wanted to go to that thing. Well, there were some who did, and I had friends who wanted to for not necessarily the right reasons. But but I explained to him. Exactly. I told him about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, so-called incident, and the lie that was made up so that we could send all of our young people and billions of dollars into that country simply to make money for people here. And we lost over 50,000 dead over there, and more missing, and more people screwed up for the rest of their lives, both physically and mentally and emotionally. We'll never get over it. I told him to look into it. I asked him a couple days later when I saw him, I said, did you look into it? He said, no, I couldn't do it because if I had found out, if I'd really read and found out that you were telling me the truth on that, I don't think I could take remembering what the things that had happened to me and some of the things that I had done. Generation after generation of our good American people, not just young people, but older people, career people, have been sacrificed for money for the elite of not just this country, but the people of the world. And you want to think about some more sacrifices. Probably a lot of you can think of some sacrifices that were made in this last 20-year war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I'm sure that your disgust probably matches mine. This is one of the many things that's wrong with our country. There are many things wrong with our country. I don't think this country, as a matter of fact, I'll say it, this country is not worth saving the way it's being run now. Okay. Now I know I've had people ask me, well, if you don't realize that everything's over, why do you want to keep fighting? To try to turn things around. That's a whole nother issue that I'll address in another one. But no, make no mistake. There is very little about the way our country is now that I have any interest in saving. Okay, this thing may have to burn down completely, or at least the foundation, so it can be rebuilt in a different way. But I'll tell you, the people who are wanting to burn it down now and are doing such a great job at destroying what America was supposed to be, they want to take it down to a certain point so that they can rebuild it into a prison. And that's simply the way it is. These people are immoral. They're evil. They have been working at this for a long time, and they have finally gotten this country through the miseducation of generations and the slaughter and sacrifice of generations. They've finally gotten this country to a point to where the masses are so stupid that they might be able to get it done and turn this into a total socialistic, communistic country that they want. It'll be at the groveling on the ground, begging to be allowed to live by the worldwide elite. Okay, this latest disgrace. The disgrace wasn't necessarily our getting out. The disgrace was how we got out, but the disgrace was going in. And everybody out there who had any part of it, I'm convinced. Now, I never knew too many generals, but I knew my share of colonels, even though I wasn't in the military. And I know that after a certain point, there are more politicians than soldiers. They bear, as do our elected officials, as do the corporations that make so much money off of wars. They bear the blame for this. Whether we are going to continue to allow it remains to be seen, but we shouldn't. And anybody who doesn't understand that this stuff is all about money, and that we are willing as a country, or I'll say this because many people just don't understand this. They don't know it, so they're ignorant about it. You can't hold the ignorant. You can't hold them responsible for what they don't know. But people now need to start understanding. Those people who are responsible for sacrificing generations of our people need to be held to account. They knew what they were doing. They knew why they were going over to Afghanistan, and it had nothing to do with protecting our homeland. Nothing at all. But they stirred up the patriotism of the people. And the American people, being for the most part good, ignorant patriots, and, I don't mean that disparagingly. What I mean is trusting, naive patriots, went along with it. And so we have voted ourselves into a prison while voting our countrymen and women into death overseas. I could go on, but I'm just so disgusted I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Go ahead and leave your comments. Don't suggest anything violent. Don't tell anybody else here that they don't know what they're talking about, or I will bounce your ass right now. And other than that, go ahead and say your piece. Say what you think, but like I say, keep it within the confines. But these people, these powers that we have allowed to have control over us, have destroyed generations of our people and our young people. People that will never be able to contribute the way they should have been able to this country. Because if they had been contributing to this country, rather than these morons out burning and stealing and raising hell, and the people in Congress, most of whom you wouldn't let in your doghouse, let alone your house, this country would be a lot better off, and I think we got to find a way back towards that. So I'll leave it at that. You all will probably have a lot of good comments about this. Like I said, keep it to the point to where you don't get this channel bounced, all right, or in trouble. I know you all are thoughtful. Just do your best. But I had to say that tonight. My disgust with what our country has become is complete. Okay. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.